Hello there, yet another beautiful day, and welcome to the second episode on Attitudes for Effective Communication. In the last episode, we discussed why one has to develop an attitude of happiness to be an effective communicator. We looked through the Harvard study on adult development and found out that it's good relationships and not money, fame, or achievements that leads to human happiness. We also found out why it is important to take every experience as an opportunity to observe, learn and unlearn, and to experiment. In this episode, we will consider three different people and understand better why it is important to develop an attitude of happiness to be an effective communicator. It's the 17th of December 1903. Two individuals who are driven by passion, who are not after money, fame, or achievements, were not oriented with results, but two individuals who loved observing things, who learned and unlearned from mistakes, who dared to experiment, had the first flight in human history. The name of the Wright brothers would have come to your mind by now. We are not talking about the Wright brothers here. We are talking about a renowned astronomer, a physicist, and an aviation pioneer of those times. We are talking about a person who had two experiments that failed before the Wright brothers had the first manned flight in human history. We are talking about a person who had money, fame, and achievement. He was heavily funded by the war ministry. He was followed everywhere for every action of his by all media. He had achieved what contemporary scientists could achieve at that particular time. And yet he quit when the Wright brothers had the first successful flight on the 17th of December of 1903. We are talking about Samuel Pierpont Langley, who died an unhappy man in 1906. A person who quit because he could not find joy in what he was doing. He could not find happiness in experimenting anymore. A person who lost confidence to experiment because he could not be first. When we compare the Wright brothers with Samuel Pierpont Langley, the Wright brothers were nowhere. They didn't have a scientific background. They didn't have money. No media followed them. They hadn't achieved much in life. They were just a bicycle shop owners. They had the drive to see every experience as an opportunity to observe, to learn and unlearn from their mistakes, and dared to confidently experiment. We celebrate the Wright brothers even today. But Samuel Pierpont Langley, he's not part of history anymore. Years after the death of Samuel Pierpont Langley, two researchers studied all his experiments, studied his findings, and found out that Samuel Pierpont Langley's technology was far more advanced. Samuel Pierpont Langley is the first person we take into account in this episode to understand the importance of being happy to be an effective communicator. To understand why it is important to develop an attitude of happiness to be an effective communicator, I would like to take you to my journey as an entrepreneur. As a young entrepreneur, I was driven by passion. I would take every opportunity as an experience and accept them as well. It was all going fine and smooth as an entrepreneur until I changed focus. I started focusing on opportunities which gave more money, which gave more fame, and made me recognized. And by the age of 22, I was the owner of a multinational company with offices in Europe and India. I was employing about 30 people at that point of time. I was invited to business conclaves. I traveled frequently. People wanted to spend time with me and talk to me. I was common in social circles. I believed I was celebrating life until my business collapsed. In the months to follow, I lost my offices. I lost all the investments that I had. I lost the people around me. One fine day, I fell from heights to the lowest one can possibly get. I was isolated. I did not want to speak to people. I was depressed. I didn't enjoy anyone else's company. When the business collapsed, people started moving away from me. I lost all money, all the fame. I was no more present in social circles. People did not want to talk to me because I was depressing. I started isolating myself. I stopped talking to people because I could not radiate any more energy there. This is what happens when the purpose of your life is not to be happy, but money, fame, or achievement for that matter. You start becoming unattractive to yourself and to the people around you. One needs to develop an attitude of happiness, and that's when you can radiate your energy and become an effective communicator. The third character I would like to introduce to you to be an effective communicator is a lovely lady I spoke with many months ago. Those who have read my book, How Leaders Communicate to Win, would identify this lady as Miss Bell. This was a telephonic conversation that I had with Miss Bell. She was extremely polite, pleasant, and carried a smile the way she was talking, and it painted a picture of a beautiful, young, smiling lady in my mind. I thought she was in her early 30s or maybe 40s. As the conversation grew, and to my shock, I found out the lady I was speaking to was 90 years old. It was so beautiful and energetic to speak with her that she was celebrating every moment of her life. I wasn't surprised when she told me her schedule, which involved family meetings, social gatherings, and meeting up with friends. No wonder why people would love to interact with her, because she was so full of happiness and energy, an energy that radiated to everyone around her. As the conversation moved forward, I found out that the issue she was facing, to which she had called me that day, was not easily solvable. I didn't have the pleasant of news for her, but Miss Bell was not a person who would give up easily. She was not a person who would let anyone, any situation or experience for that matter, deter her happiness. I am sure you would have met someone like Miss Bell in your life. Comment below if you would like to be a person like Miss Bell, a person full of happiness and radiates energy, who attracts people, who people enjoy communicating and spending time with. If you are one such person, I have few tips for you today. These practical tips will definitely help you start becoming a happier person. And when you become a happier person, you will start resonating your happiness with the people around you, making you an effective communicator. The first tip to develop an attitude of happiness is that of self-reflection. Spend the next few minutes reflecting on your day. Did you feel it's a beautiful day? Were you happy today? What did you do to make yourself or the people around you happy today? How many times did you think about money, fame, or achievement? It includes thinking about expenses, thinking about getting more followers, thinking about getting people's attention and appreciation. If you're able to find enough and more reasons where you found yourself happy or you spread happiness, you are developing an attitude of happiness. Whereas if you were thinking more on money, appreciation, achievements, or fame, you need to develop an attitude of happiness. The second tip is to look yourself in a crystal clear mirror. Do you find yourself happy? Would you want to spend time or talk to yourself? If you don't feel like a happy person, if you would not want to talk to yourself, how do you think you can attract people to your lives? Develop an attitude of happiness to be an effective communicator. See you over the weekend in the next episode of the video series Attitudes for Effective Communication, possible with JB.